Hello, 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 hello. We have this chassis plate. Beautiful. I say plate because it's, a sheet of material. And I say chassis because everything else will be attached to it. It's kind of the internal structure that keeps our bot together. But there are some problems. Number one, how does this motor driver attach to it? To fix that, let's hide some of these things. We'll hide the motor, we'll hide the ball bearing, hide the servo. Okay. I think this part needs to be a little bit higher than this. So, to do that, there was a joint that we made. We've got two joints. We've got this joint here and this joint here. If I look around, this joint is the one that connects the microbit to the motor driver. And this joint is the one that connects the motor driver, this black thing, to the chassis, which is here. But it's not set up quite right. They're in the same place. There are a few ways to do that. To fix that, I could delete it and recreate it. Right-click on that joint and go delete. That's probably the best way, I think. So what I just did is I right-clicked on the joint, the one that connects the motor driver to the chassis plate. The joint is this icon here. Right-click and then go delete. Another way of doing it, if you click on joints, you can click on rigid 1 is that joint. Rigid 2 is this one that I want to delete. Either way, when I right-click on it and go delete, boom, now they're not joined together anymore, which is good and bad. They do need to be joined though, don't they? So let's try joining again to fix that joint. You might notice that the microbit is set a little bit away from it. In fact, I designed it so that these boss holes here are 7mm tall. So let's go joint, and I'll move this out the way. We want to select the bottom middle of this. So I move to the bottom middle, there it is. And I want that to be, I don't want it to be exactly at this point, but I want it to be close to it. If I click on this point here, it'll line them up so they're in exactly the same position. We have the problem that we had before, where I can click and drag on this handle to rotate it so that it's in a good position. On my bot, it's a little bit closer to the back. It doesn't really matter, but if I go to the top view, if I do want it further to the back, I can change this joint by clicking on this arrow and moving it further to the back. There we go. Good. It doesn't matter exactly where it is, as long as it feels right to you. One thing that does matter though, is look, the motor driver is exactly on top of the plastic. That doesn't give much room for all of these blobs of solder and wires that come out of the bottom. So let's lift it up. If I click on the left view, there we go. And now I can click on this arrow and drag it up. I want to drag it up by 7mm because that's how tall these boss holes are going to be. Let's just check that it looks good. Yes, that looks nice. We've got enough room underneath for these wires to dangle. Great. Okay. So now we can check, let's just double check. If I move one, the other moves with it. They are joined. Okay, so let's make these holes. How will we do that? Well, there are a few ways. One way is let's go to the chassis and activate it because I'm going to be working on it. I'll change the view to be above. I can click on top to get it exactly above. Drag around, click to deselect. And now I want to create a sketch. But where? I want to make a sketch on this surface here, on this face. So you can click on this face. That will make a new sketch inside the chassis. Yes, capture position. Good. Now I can make these holes. There are a few ways to make the holes. One way is you can use the project tool, which is create. Where is it? Project. You can see you can just type the letter P, which is easier. Project, and click on there, and there, and oopsie. Do you notice that it tries to select all of the top face? But if I do that, it'll project everything. It'll include all of these little holes. But I don't want that. Let's cancel. Go P again. I just be very careful to select just these red circles. There we go. And then go OK. Now I can hide the motor board and the microbit, and those parts have been included in the chassis, in this sketch in the chassis. Out of curiosity, let's click Inspect and measure how big these holes are. Apparently these holes are 4.2 millimeters. Well, I think that 4.2 millimeters is a little bit big because we're going to use a bolt that's 4 millimeters. And if the bolt is 4 millimeters and the hole is also 4 millimeters, just to show you what that looks like very, very quickly. There we go. So imagine that I put a 4 millimeter diameter bolt in here, it'll just slide right through. I don't want it to slide right through. I want it to have threads on this hole. So there are a few ways to accomplish that. One is, let's just make new circles. So I can click on circle, click here, and make the circle. I've figured out through trial and error that for a 4 millimeter bolt, that is an M4 bolt, you need the hole to be a little bit smaller so that the teeth can bite into it. So let's make a 3.1 millimeter hole. Good. So now I've got a circle here that's 3.1 millimeters. I can go circle again and make one that is on the outside, maybe 5 millimeters. There we go. So now this inside one is the hole that's inside there, and the outside one is the outside of the plastic. In other words, this section will be extruded. This section will be filled with plastic. Let me show you what that looks like so it makes more sense. If I go Finish Sketch, and then click Extrude, and then zoom in, and extrude this part and this part, scroll down. I remember I wanted 7 millimeter tool, boss hole. Okay. So that's what it will look like. And then the screw will screw into that hole there. Now we need to repeat for the other ones. I wonder if there is an easy way to do this. I'm going to try a little experiment. No, I'm not confident that there is. Let's just double click on the sketch. Circle, what was this, 3.1, circle, the shortcut for circle. You can either click on circle there, or you can press the letter C, click on the middle, 5, enter, C, click on the circle, 3.1, enter, C, click in the middle, 5, enter, there we go. Good. Wonderful. All right, let's finish. I sort of raced ahead of myself a little bit because there are other ones, aren't there? To edit it and add the other ones, I can either click on this and do it again, or I can edit this extrude. Right click and go Edit Feature. Now, as well as extruding this part, I can also extrude this and this. And I can extrude this and this. And I can extrude this and this. Wonderful. Okay. So by the end of it, you should have 4 columns for our motor driver board to screw into. It would be nice if the hole went all the way through. That would make it easier because then you wouldn't have to worry about the screw going so far that it went all the way through. I had a problem that I used quite long bolts to screw it. And then of course the tip of the long bolt hit that and I couldn't screw it in fully. It's fine if you've got short bolts, but we may as well make the hole go all the way through anyway. To do that, I can extrude that face, and we're going to rotate and drag it right down. There we go. Do you notice that it went red to indicate that it's a cut operation? that means that it's going to cut through the bottom. If I change that to a join, then it would add material. But I really do want to cut. I want to do it for the other ones as well. So to add another one, you can hold Control and click. Control and click that circle. Control and click that circle. There we go. Drag down. And now you can see that it's going to cut 4 holes all the way through. Okay. Neat. Let's see how it looks with the motor driver board. We'll go back to the main component, the root component. Awesome. All right, this is really coming along. In the next video, I will show you some more things, mainly about how we're going to attach this power bank and the motor and the servo motor. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.